Hey boys and girls, welcome back to the table, and today you might notice that I don't have any crayons. That's because today we're going to make something pretty exciting. We're going to make some Play-Doh today. As later on I'm going to want to show you guys some 3D work, and maybe you don't have Play-Doh at home, so this is a way that you can make it. Now, this is a lot of fun, but you really do need to make sure you have permission from your grown-ups today because this is messy. So here's the things you're going to need. You're going to need some measuring cups. And my third grade friends, I know that you know from math class in your measurement unit that I don't mean these kind of cups because they come in different sizes. This one's a tiny cup. Here's a medium-sized cup, even a great big cup. This one I have to be careful with because it has one of our ingredients in it, which I'll get to later. I'm going to put that one back aside. I'm going to get these out of our way because we do not need those kind of cups. I'm talking about measuring cups. You're going to need measuring cups. You'll need a liquid measuring cup. You will need a 1 cup measurer and a 3/4 cup measure. Now, if you don't have a 3/4 cup measure, that's okay. Most of us have a 1/4 cup measure in our measuring kit. And if it's 3/4 of a cup and you only have a 1/4 cup measure, what do you need to do? That's right, you need to use it 3 times because 3 1/4 equal 3/4. Fun fraction math in art today. Now we're going to do a lot of different things today. We're going to do some math, we're going to do some science, we might even get in some PE and some language arts. I bet some of you are going to be counting. Keep up with it. I'll get there. You will need a measuring bowl or a mixing bowl. I'm sorry, this is not a measuring bowl. This is a mixing bowl. We will need that. You're going to need some salt. You are going to need some flour. And you'll notice that mine says, oop, we got really dark all of a sudden. There we are back. You're going to notice that mine says all-purpose flour. Now, most of our grown-ups are going to know that there are different types of flour. You do want all-purpose flour for this one, or just regular bleached flour or unbleached flour. You're not going to need a bright flour or anything exciting like that. And you will need some water. Okay, and we'll get to that later. That's actually our last ingredient that we need. So I'm going to keep it over there so it doesn't spill. And since it's a liquid, it'll go with our liquid measuring cup. And again, we'll get to that one later. Now, we're also going to learn a little bit about baking skills today. Now, all kinds of stuff in art. Like I said, we're going to get to a lot of stuff. So the first thing I need, is actually the 3/4 measure and our salt. So we are going to make a basic salt dough. This is a really, really fun type of Play-Doh. And what's really cool about it is when it dries, you can paint it and you can color on it and you can make a project that will actually last. So for anybody wondering, I got this recipe out of this book. It's called Clay Lab. It's by an art teacher named Cassie Stevens. And grown-ups, there are actually a couple other clay recipes in here that I will probably post up on Blackboard later. And there are also a whole bunch of projects inside. So if you are interested in purchasing this book, it is available on lots of different places, Amazon. You don't have to. If you're interested in any of the projects inside, I'll probably be posting a couple of those later as well, using the Play-Doh kind of stuff that we're using here today. All right, let's start making some Play-Doh. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure our salt. I have my 3/4 cup measure. Okay, for this project, you are going to need 3/4 of a cup of salt, 1 cup of flour. Hold on, we got to double check the recipe. It's always important to have your recipe on hand when you are working. All right, it is 2 cups of flour. That's important. Can't forget that it's 2 cups of flour. All right, so the recipe that you are going to need is 3/4 cup salt, 2 cups of flour, and 3/4 cup of water. Pretty easy. And we're going to measure our salt first. So you just take your salt and you fill up your measuring cup and kind of shake it a little bit so it's all even. And the good thing with this recipe is if it's not exact, that's okay. Now you'll notice that I am patting this into place. So I can check if I were doing this at my dining room table, I would brush it off, and I'll show you how to do that with the flour because it comes in a bigger container. And then you take your salt and dump it into the bucket. Ooh, that was satisfying. All right, now we're going to measure our flour. And flour is a little bit different when we measure it because flour has a different consistency to it than salt does. So to measure my flour, I not only have my cup measure, but I have a knife to scrape it. Now, some of you might have fancy baking tools that are actually a scraper. I don't. I have a knife. So that's what I'm going to use. And in my flour container, you will notice that I have a scooper because when we measure flour, we want it to be fluffy. This is when you're baking, you want it to be fluffy too. So you take and you put your your flour into your cup and you want it to be heaped on top. Okay? We don't shake flour down. We do not pack it because then your recipe will be incorrect. And then you take your knife and you just slide it off the top so it's nice and level. So I have one. Try not to make a giant mess here. Flour can be a little tricky to clean up if it goes everywhere. So again, make sure that your grown-up says it's okay for you to be doing this before you start. Right? It's all heaped up. And then I scrape it off the top. All right. And then that goes in there. And we are all done with our dry measuring cups. So when you are baking or making anything really that has wet and dry ingredients, so if I were actually mixing up what we call our kiln wash that I use to keep our special clay oven from getting stuff stuck to it, or if I were mixing up paint, I would have liquid and dry ingredients. Dry ingredients use dry measuring cups, and liquid ingredients use liquid measuring cups. Okay? And your classroom teacher could probably tell you a little bit better than I can about why, but basically what it comes down to is liquid measurements are just slightly different than dry ingredient measurements. So just like with baking, the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm using my hand, you can use a spoon, the knife that we use to do the sliding with, whatever, it's up to you. I like to use my hand. And I'm mixing together the salt and the flour because we mix together our dry ingredients first, just like we're baking cookies. Now, unlike cookies, it is very, very important to understand that what we are making right now, even though it's made out of edible ingredients, it is not to eat, okay? It has raw flour in it, which is not good for us, and it has a lot of salt in it, which is also not good for us. Okay, so we do not want to eat this. It is not a baking dough. It is a drying and making art dough. All right, now we are going to measure our liquids. And I'm going to do something a little weird here when I do measure my liquids. I'm going to get down at eye level, turn this a little bit. It's probably a little hard to see on your end, but the line that I'm looking at is right here. It's my 3/4 of a cup line. And I'm going to get down to eye level so that I can see when the water's at the right spot. And what I'm looking at here to know this measurement is I'm looking at something that's called the meniscus. And I just about have it. A little bit off. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. So the meniscus, boys and girls, you kind of see it here, is the line that the water makes as it's on the top, or the top of the water. It's like the surface tension part. Here's some of our science. And why that is happening, it's called a hydrogen bond. Where are my science friends at? Yeah. So a hydrogen bond is the molecules sticking together. And with water, they do something really cool. They actually bend just a little teeny tiny bit to the glass sides. And that line is called the meniscus. I have a couple of PE friends that are going, no, Mrs. Hagen, the meniscus is that bone, that cartilage in your knee, and it helps protect your knee from your bones moving around. You are correct too. It is also the same word there. And I probably have some language arts friends that are going, it's the same word, but it means a different thing. What's the word that means it's the same word that means a different thing? You're right, it's a homonym. Good job, guys. See, I told you we would do some PE and some language arts and art today. So I'm looking at that meniscus line, and I want the bottom of that line to come to the line where I am measuring. And then I dump. Okay, and for this one, I'm not going to use my hands because they would just get icky, sticky. I'm going to use the knife here, mostly because I forgot to grab a spoon. I'm going to stir, 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 stir. And what it's starting to do in here is it's starting to get a little doughy. And at some point, I am going to have to use my hands. But that initial stirring together, I like to do with a spoon or a knife or a rubber scraper, or if your grown-ups say that it's okay and they have a stand mixer, you could dump this all into one of those big stand mixers, because even though you can't eat this, it doesn't have anything in it that wouldn't go in a stand mixer anyway. All right, and once it starts getting kind of crumbly, you are going to want to use your hands and start kneading it together. Okay. I'm noticing that I have a lot of dry underneath, so I am actually going to add just a little bit more water, not a lot. Okay, I'm not even going to let it come up to the half mark here, or the half cup mark. And I'm probably only going to pull in a little bit of that, because I don't want to get it too wet, because that would be a little icky. I don't want super wet Play-Doh, but I also don't want to waste ingredients, because that's not being an ethical citizen. I don't like to waste supplies. All right, now it's starting to really come together. So what's really, really cool about this dough, like I said in the beginning, is that once you have it made, and there's quite a bit of it, okay, you can mold it just like the clay we use in the art room. Okay, and I promise I will have a project later on where I do this with. I promised some third grade friends that we would make dragons this year. Don't worry, third grade, I got you. We are going to make some salt dough dragons. Okay. But once you have it all mixed up, you can make something out of it and set it aside, let it dry, and then you can paint it and have something that you can keep. Or you can get a Ziploc baggie or a Tupperware bowl or something else that's airtight. You can put it inside there, and then you can use it like Play-Doh, where you build with it, mush it back together, and then use it again. So this is a really fun and easy type of Play-Doh that you can make, so that you can make lots of fun little art projects with it. And just like always, if you guys want to share with me what you make, go ahead and send me an email with a photograph or tweet it out to KP. I bet we're all ready to get going and making this and get off of this table. So go do a thing.